I woke to a gentler kind of silence, the kind that doesn't erase you, just makes room for your name. The kettle clicked off and I carried my mug to the window, the city murmuring far below like a promise I finally intended to keep. My name is Mara Quinn, and last night the Ellisons, my family by blood, not by mercy, made one thing clear. If I love them, I should vanish from their public life. I didn't argue. I took my coat and left. Morning light slid over the boxes in my apartment, boxes I'd packed but never labeled, a ritual of almost leaving. Today I wrote the labels, design tools, contracts, photographs I'm still deciding about. Each word felt like stitching a wound closed. By 9, I was in a tiny co-working loft that smelled like paint and bread. I signed a month-to-month desk and taped my name to the corkboard. No more Ellison Foundation letterhead, no more being the reliable daughter who fixed budgets in the dark so the gala lights could look honest. I opened a fresh document and typed, Quinn Studio. Brand systems for small places. Not revenge, direction. At noon, I met Saira, the only colleague who'd ever asked how I was when the cameras were off. At a cafe with fogged windows, I told her I'd resigned. She stared, then smiled with that fierce tenderness that makes you steady. You didn't leave them, Mara, she said. You left the role they wrote for you. I spent the afternoon calling vendors under my own name, reclaiming accounts I'd managed invisibly for years. No speeches, no spectacle, just signatures, mine. When dusk came, I stood by the window again, and the city didn't feel like something to infiltrate. It felt like something to inhabit. The first inquiry arrived before sunrise. A voice memo from Rosa, who ran a corner bakery known for sugar-dusted knots and pay-what-you-can coffee. She'd heard I was starting a real studio. Real sounded like a dare. By 8, I was standing under her hand-painted sign, flower floating in the air like a soft, weathered snowfall. We walked the block, mapping her street by landmarks that meant nothing to donors and everything to neighbors. The night shift bus stop, the park bench with a missing slat, the thrift shop that slipped a spare coat to anyone who asked. I need a brand that makes people pause without feeling priced out, Rosa said. Something that says home without saying small. I sketched on wax paper, translating warm ovens into rounded letter forms, steam curls into ligatures. The work felt like tuning a radio until the song that had always been there came in clear. When I showed Rosa the draft, her eyes warmed. Quinn, she said, testing it like a spoonful of batter. People will see us. Outside, my phone chimed. A private number. Miss Quinn, a measured voice said, I advise the Ellisons. Your exit has created sensitivities. Please refrain from contacting any of their partner organizations. I laughed once. I'm at a bakery that takes IOUs, I said. We'll risk it. That evening, I printed our contract and taped it to my own apartment door, a temporary office. My hands shook, not from fear but from the relief of finally choosing what shakes me. 2 weeks later, Rosa's new sign arrived. A looped R like steam, a serif like sugar. We planned a dawn reveal. Neighbors gathered with paper cups. I climbed the step stool, peeled the craft paper back, and the street breathed out. Soft applause, real joy, and someone cried quietly, smiling wide today. A black sedan idled at the curb. The advisor stepped out, immaculate. Miss Quinn, he said, this neighborhood contract jeopardizes legacy relationships. I looked at Rosa, then at faces that had weathered rent hikes and closures. Legacy is what stays when the press leaves, I said. Have a cinnamon knot? Laughter scattered his poise like chaff. There will be statements. Here's mine. I faced the crowd. Quinn Studio works for places with big hearts. If that complicates someone's narrative, they can adjust their story. Saira arrived with a thermos and an envelope. Inside were 3 more inquiries. The thrift shop, a night school, a clinic needing wayfinding no one would ignore. We set a folding table and booked discovery sessions in 20-minute blocks. People drew their ideas on napkins and receipts. I listened, translated, priced fairly. By noon, the sedan was gone, the sign already ordinary, and my name, just mine, taped to a calendar filled through spring. I carried the step stool inside and, for the first time, felt the simple luxury of staying put.